Hold on. I have to go get my life together. Can I join? Let's go get our life together. Let's together. Let's together. Let's together.
Well, cheers. So, hello, good morning, and welcome to season 2 of Getting Our Lives Together. I'm your host, Mimi.
And I'm your host, Ari.
And I'm your first guest.
Yeah.
Ever, right?
Ever.
Bran Flakezz. Hi, how are you guys?
We are very happy to have you here.
happy to be here.
Thank you so much for coming. Like, we were having a great conversation off camera, and we were saying we live for Bran Flakezz because he does not gatekeep. He is so super authentic and honest with his audience, and he's super helpful. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And it shows, honestly. You can tell, you know, why I feel like certain people, you know, grow more rapidly.
Oh.
And I think it's because when you are honest and you are putting your energy into it and you're caring, it makes a difference.
Yeah,
Thank
people
you
feel
guys.
that. People feel that. We're in the world where, like, we miss that authenticity, that realness, and your audience gets that from you.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks, guys.
Yeah.
So sweet. You guys are great, too.
So far, when he saw from us, he saw us literally trying to get him wasted.
Literally,
And then not have microphones.
Literally, the
because
moment
we're
he
the
got here, we
microphones.
haven't given this man any water. We're like, drink alcohol.
I mean, it's the chaos. It's summer. You
It's
know,
summer.
why not?
Every
Why
day
not?
is Saturday to me.
Every day Saturday. I'm 27. I grew up in the suburbs of Philly. I went to school for fashion merchandising.
Okay.
I was working in the fashion industry, and this was like 2021. Everyone had been being like, Bran, you got to get on TikTok. And I was like, all right, like, finally, let's see what the hype is about. And I was like, all right, like, I think I'm pretty funny. Like, I can make some videos on here. But I didn't, like, know what was going to happen.
Wow.
Yes.
And it was not, like, an overnight success. Like, I posted for, like, 6 months and was in, like, 200 view jail.
Yeah.
Like, I think everyone else is.
Yeah.
And then, like, one video went viral, and then, like, a few days later, another one went viral, and then a few followers started to come in, and I just was, like, really consistent. I think that's how you kind of find success in this industry, is you're just, like, relentlessly posting like you're already famous
Yeah.
and acting like you're already famous.
And creativity.
Oh, thank you.
And
Yes.
honestly, the first video I saw of you was during like COVID, and it was like right when COVID happened, like at the point where like all of the restaurants were shut down, and I like had tears in my eyes because it was when Selena Gomez like popped up on your FaceTime, and I was like, oh my god, that makes me so happy.
I like forget that happened sometimes.
Like,
Well, I
much has
remember.
happened since.
Yeah, so much has happened since. Like, that was really, honestly, early on. I just hit 100,000 followers, and I went live to, like, thank everybody for 100K, and she jumped in, and I
On
was like,
FaceTime.
yes, it was crazy. That was absolutely insane.
When something happens like that, does your brain even register what's happening in that moment?
No, I remember, like, and I have, like, the full video of it. I was, like, in bed reading the comments, and then I saw that she typed something, or I saw that she joined the live, and I was like, oh my god. And then she, like, wrote in it, and then she was, like, responding, and I was like, this is actually insane.
And at that time too, I feel like, you know, people weren't really posting on TikTok as much as they are now.
Yeah, it was a lot less saturated then, so it was so special.
Yeah, and I think it was special because it was like, if you have like, I post on TikTok all the time. I wanted to post then.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
I had to
afraid,
overcome my
that fear.
nerves.
Yeah.
It was like the people that truly, they were like, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to care what anyone thinks. Like, no one else is doing it. I'm going for it.
Yeah, if I had started even earlier too, I would have been like a bigger success. Like, if I'd started in March 2020,
That's how I got my one viral video. I posted COVID. Everybody was on TikTok on their cell phones, and I literally posted it. It was a random me doing a wig video for Nicki Minaj. She had like the rainbow wig. I was like, I'm gonna recreate that, some creativity. I'm stuck in the house. I posted it, and my phone was shutting down within 1 second because the TikTok notification. So like literally, but I have to like give my hat off to you even more, because if you started in 2021 and got that when it was getting more saturated,
yes,
that is a good place to like fight through.
Thank you. Yeah. everything worked out. And,
Yes.
you know, I always say, like, coulda, shoulda, woulda, but I'm glad I am where I am now.
And you're not stopping.
No,
you're not.
definitely not.
So you're like, I would be more successful. Like, you're growing.
Oh,
and
thank you.
yeah. No, but it's all good. I'm happy that we have really good things to say. Like but you are like right now, you are very active, and like I feel like your fans are very active too. Like there are some people that might have like, you know, a similar number, but they don't have like the same kind of like they don't have like the same kind of activeness.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I mean, I try to post like 2 like organic videos every day. I mean, it's a lot of work, and there's some days where I'm like, honestly, basically now, recently, every day, I'm like, what am I going to post today? But I find when I like don't really like make it that deep, I'm just like, just post something that you thought about today. They like do well.
Absolutely, because like your core, they want to see you. They just want to see you on their FYP.
Yeah,
I know right now my TikTok, I did it to myself, but it's all clothing brands and people trying to sell stuff to me, you know? Like, I miss the times where I had like the goofy stuff on my FYP.
The good like, story times.
Yes.
Yep. TikTok is so shady because I swear to God, sometimes I don't even talk. And the videos that pop up, like when I was going through a breakup in September,
the shade of it all.
I was sending the videos to Mimi, and Mimi was like, "Damn, are you
how
gonna
do
make
they
it through
know?
this?"
I was like, "How do they know?"
They do.
It was like the hearts are like disconnected, but like they're gonna be back together.
Like,
he's gonna text you, and I'm like,
deactivate.
Your algorithm is like your government agent. Like,
yes,
they know.
It's a scary place to be if you're going through any kind of something.
Hello, because TikTok will know, Google will know, and call you out. Can I tell you the shadiest thing Google has ever done to me?
I'm so ready to hear this.
Like, literally, like, my whole life, ever since we started getting ads, it will suggest to me clothing, but only plus size. Like, literally only. And I'm like, that's fine.
Well,
that's fine.
Your phone's listening to you. That's what I have to say.
That's what I'm saying. Well, I am thick. I got a fat ass. I got a thick. Yes, honestly, no, give me the plus. Thank you. Give me the plus. You're right, though. I am thick, so.
No.
But
Mimi,
shade.
You literally said earlier, even today, you were like, well, yeah, because I'm bloated. So, like, your phone hears you.
Yeah, the phone is listening. The government is listening. So,
yeah. I wonder what the most shady thing Google has done to me. I feel like TikTok has done me more dirty. Honestly, Google has just, like, threw, like, Revolve ads everywhere.
No, literally, though, I feel like your phone does you dirty. You need to get an app that, like, locks it when you get drunk, so then the drunk texting doesn't
Well, yeah, so
yes.
I wanted to ask you this.
Oh, no.
Yes. This is good if I'm not alone. So, I am a bad drunk texter. It's really, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
What's your best drunk text?
My best? Like...
Are you, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, and do you have a drunk text story that you
want to share?
Oh, my God.
Well, you're not alone.
One time... Well, I didn't initiate this drunk text. Let me just make that clear. But one time, a man on Grindr, this was years ago, he messaged me and was like, do you have perks? And I was like, of course I do. I was like, I love doing this. I love doing that. And he was like, no, I mean Percocet. And I was like,
stop playing.
I was like, no. I don't have perks.
Wait, that's amazing.
That just took so many different twists and turns.
I read that the next day. I was like, oh, that's not.
That's actually iconic. I wish mine were like innocent because that is really good.
Just me, yeah.
It's me like, yeah, perks.
I've also definitely sent like a lot of drunk texts, and I'm like the one that does one after another, but they're just like kind of like honestly like sad. They're like first name, like, wait, you hate me, call me, stop, blah.
Oh my gosh.
I've grown out of that, I will say. I don't do that. Like, I'm not going to say I never do that, but like, I typically don't do that anymore with anybody that I like actually like.
Right.
Yeah, there's no safe place with me. But you know what I have to say? When I'm going through like difficult times in life and I drink, that's when the drunk texts come out. Because I'm like, I thought we got rid of this in your early 20s, Ariana. And
honestly, that is low-key like how I stopped doing it. Like, I only drink now like out of celebration, meaning like If I'm in a good mood, I'm happy. Even if it doesn't have to be anything intense. It could be like I'm literally celebrating the weekend, or I'm celebrating the fact that all my friends were able to go to happy hour at the same time and we're together.
Right.
But if I'm sad, I actually don't like to drink.
Yeah.
I have other habits. Like I love to eat when I'm sad. Like I'm like, let's order Pizza Hut. Like I'm like, let's order food. Yeah. That's like kind of my like coping mechanism.
I get it.
But when I'm sad, I don't like to drink because I did find like I would do those things and I would just like ruin my life even more. And then I was just more sad.
And it's like, you don't need that level of anxiety.
No.
When you are feeling your best. No,
don't.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with agreeing with you because I have, I've been staying in the apartment, hanging out with Mimi, having a drink. And next thing you know, it's not that I'm even drunk texting the people I know. It's that I'm Instagramming FaceTime the people that I don't know.
Yeah. However,
like 7-8 times.
Wow.
And and also like what I don't even know what I said recently. It was crazy, but it was honestly, it's probably best I don't say it. But
this is why we're getting it together. So it's a learning lesson, and if we can learn something from our guests. Don't drink when you're sad.
Drink out of celebration.
I think after 2020, like 2020, 2021, I was feral. Like I was in the streets.
2021 was my rough year.
Literally. And like, where was the job? No one had a job. We were going to like sketchy clubs in Chinatown, going like underneath the sewer basically, just to get into a club. Like be for real.
It was short ceilings. Honestly, when they would bring out the bottles, I'm surprised the place didn't get burned down.
The sparklers were touching the ceiling. That's how small. I do miss the Vesper, like fall times, Eagle season.
Vesper, oh my God, Spiked Sundays.
Yes, I miss.
2021 was bad. There was too many things to do.
Yeah.
We were there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday during football season.
I was there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Are you kidding? Every day.
I probably walked by you guys like a million different times.
But we all were in our own little world, so
it was on a level. So, but that's literally though, that time frame was the inception of when we were like, we have to get it together. Like, we need to really be for real. Like,
I mean, Mimi and I, we literally named our Wi-Fi name, getting our lives together, and that's where we're doing it.
Manifestation.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go.
And we also wouldn't hang out with each other for a while.
Yeah, we're like, no, sis, because we have way too much. We have a good time together.
Too much fun.
Yeah, but when did you really recognize that you were entering the influencer world?
I think when I knew that it was becoming the real deal, probably was, I guess when I started getting paid, that was step one. But then when I realized it was beyond just being a Philly influencer was when I was invited on my first brand trip.
Okay.
And then when I went on that trip and then I was surrounded by some of the biggest names, I was like, oh, I'm not just that Philly guy. I actually am just an influencer, or I don't even like the term influencer. I guess more of a creator.
Yeah,
it's more
I like
me.
that.
Yeah, I'm that. I'm a bigger creator was when I realized that.
That's amazing. And what was the brand trip?
I went to Austin, Texas with Amazon Prime for South by Southwest.
Wow.
That was the trip that changed my life. I quit my job 2 weeks after that trip.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was when I knew. Well, I was like, this is the real deal.
That's what I wanted to ask you, because I saw you worked in Anthro corporate,
yes.
which I feel is a lit job.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, when did you say, okay, I am going to quit my job. This is something I like to do, but...
Yeah, so I left Anthro in August of 2021, and I actually worked for GoPuff for 8 months, and for half of that term I was running their social media. So I was doing their TikTok, and I was just getting so burnt out doing their TikTok and doing mine, and my career was starting to really take off, and I was starting to see a lot of opportunity, and I was just I don't want to do both right now. I would rather I don't know how long this is going to last, but I would rather focus on me and see what I can make of it. Absolutely. And I had 2 degrees. I have a master's degree. I was I have stuff to fall back on. I have a good resume. I was I can always go back to 9 to 5, but I don't know how long this is going to last. Absolutely. So I took that leap of faith, and it worked.
Yeah.
Which was great.
That's amazing. That a lot of people do not take that. So it's so good to see people who do get rewarded for it.
Take a risk on yourself, honestly.
100%.
And I love that you said creator instead of influencer, because it is, people that love creativity. And I feel you been ahead of the game with like some kind of creative like things that other people were gonna do. Like I saw you like, well, no, like you guessed what they were gonna do. Like I remember when Alex Earl came out with her, literally,
yeah.
And I saw your video and I was like, that is like so cool. I was like, I like it. And then she
did it.
Uploaded. I know.
Yes,
I was
crazy.
What?
Yeah.
I was like, wait. I went back to your page and I was like, that
Yeah.
is so crazy. But you were meant to be a creator. You have a very, even like, which I would love if you like feel like you can talk about it. The show.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. I have these ideas. I don't know, and I just put them out there, and I get very lucky that a lot of times they stick. And I just have been seeing I guess as a creator myself, I just see so much like misunderstanding about like how you make money and like what it means to be an influencer. And there's still like so many people that I feel like either don't know what an influencer is or think that influencing is still very much the 2010 like Nepo babies who are just rich and post designer clothing on their Instagram. And I'm like, no, now it's really like, it's all about being a creator and like creating content. And I just gave you the idea, like, just like America's Next Top Model, like, I feel like, I mean, we were so young when that show came out.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming before that show came out that there was a stigma around modeling, that it was just being a pretty face. And I feel like that show showed, like, honestly, it was really fucking hard. And, like, the pressure that those girls were under was crazy. And I'm not saying that influencing is hard. It's not. But there are a lot more things that go into it. And I was like, it could be cool if we made a show that kind of shows the behind the scenes and educates people on like what exactly it is, while also being super entertaining and getting some of your favorite TikTok stars, your favorite Instagram girlies involved. So yeah, I had that idea, put it out there, and it's been so cool. I've been pitching to like huge networks. I'm pitching again this week to another network. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Thank you for giving
that.
Amazing. Yeah. That was one of the first videos of yours that came up on my FYP, and it just totally blew up. And I love the idea. I thought it was amazing how many other creators were engaging.
Yes,
I love to see that, and I love to see their big names verified. Like they are not afraid to like interact with other creators and create something bigger. So I love seeing all that interaction. Love your ideas, and I cannot wait to see what you make of that.
Oh, thank you guys.
Seriously.
That's going to change the game because honestly, from someone who has like been working on like, I mean, I have been creating. I love creating and I love creativity. I've definitely struggled on TikTok, but it's more so like I've struggled with finding my sense of self on there, like what I want to post.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not easy to become one. It's not like anyone can just do it. Like so far, my largest fan base are, first of all, I went viral every time I posted pajamas without a bra on, and it was not the intention. I literally am wearing matching pajamas that are like completely covered. You're not seeing, I just unfortunately have big tits that need to become smaller and they hang low. So like I'm literally famous for being like heavy hangers. And they literally, so they like.
Good for you.
Honestly, good for you.
So I'm going viral, getting milk the cows, heavy hangers. They go right down to your ankles.
Oh my god!
So that's where I first went viral.
Boobs.
Well, thank you.
But honestly, though, I will say those comments, so they keep coming back. They like what they're seeing. If you get a boob job, they're going to be pissed.
Honestly, they're going to help me pay for it if they keep coming, and I'm really happy about it.
True.
But I'm like, I try to get the girls. I'm like, I have a whole podcast and we like expose men on it. I'm like, how do I do that? But so it's not that easy. I think that I'm still navigating it. You know, it helped me start my podcast sooner, I think, because I wasn't, you know, doing as well as like I thought I could on TikTok initially. And there's no giving up.
No giving up.
No. But I need you to celebrate your small wins, sis.
Oh, for sure. I'm happy. I am not like a angry or like not grateful person. So I'm grateful for all of it and even the thoughts that like I have. But I think that you having like America's Next like influencer, like that's next level. That's changing someone's life where this is their passion.
Yeah, and that's the goal. I want to like inspire people and, you know, make someone's dreams come true, because I was able to make my dreams come true, and it's a great feeling, and hopefully someone else can do that too.
Absolutely. That was one of my questions for you. I said, if you are going to use your platform for good, how would you use it? And that just answered you.
I'm hoping to like, that's kind of always my goal, is to just help motivate people to like get started and like see someone like me who is able to like do it and hopefully be inspired by that and, you know, eager to just follow their dreams. I want to inspire others for sure.
Yeah. Growing up, we saw like the Jenners and the Kardashians of the world.
Right.
And it's kind of like, you know, you are fans, we are famous. And now I don't feel that way with like creators. I feel like people want to bring other people with them.
Yeah.
They're not like, oh, I'm famous and you're not, you know.
So
they're like, you could do it too. I was once in your shoes. It's more relatable than it's ever been.
I totally agree. It's awesome.
That's why I do always say I love using TikTok more, because you'll get people from bumblefuck, you don't even know where they're from, commenting on your stuff and interacting.
Yeah.
Whereas Instagram's a little more exclusive, like you know. So I love TikTok for that reason.
Yeah,
me too. So many people.
Me too.
Okay, I do have to ask, because we are Philly natives and we've had our fun times in the streets. So I want to ask if you know this person.
Oh no,
this is gonna be
I do.
Because I'm gonna spill a little bit of tea. So I walked in on him giving my ex
that we showed you earlier,
fellatio head.
Your ex.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, not fellatio. We skipped over that too fast. Not like cuddling is, not coitus.
No, and
she said health club.
Well, you think that's what you're gonna do? I was like,
she did $500 right away.
Sugary a little bit.
You know what? That wasn't the way our relationship was set up, but he had money. So he's used to taking care of.
No, it wasn't set up like that.
Like, I walked in and I see him scurrying to the side as if I didn't just see, and I'm like, don't. And when I see him every day till this day, he scurries away. You know?
Your ex is a little.
And listen,
he needs to live his truth.
He needs to live his truth, and I knew
that's like hot.
Yeah, no, let me tell you,
we better not do that
exactly,
because listen, I'm very nice until I'm not.
No, honestly,
no, we're girls now.
No, honestly, babe, you can, because clearly,
you can, because I also don't want. I don't want you to have to go through it.
No, but honestly though, that I am such a be yourself, be free type of person, because I would want my partner to be that for me. So I don't care if my man is a little, you know, like bisexual on the spectrum of sexuality, because I really do think that it's a spectrum. I don't think that you're just one thing. So whatever. So I was always like open to be you. However, I don't want to walk in on you and the host from the place that we always go to.
Oh my God.
And literally, I remember him being like, oh, I was like, you know, it's always packed there. Like, we might not be able to get in. It's nice out. He's like, don't worry, I got it. Because, like, he's like, yeah. And now I get why we're always getting the top seat, top shelf, top everything.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that is tea. Okay, wow.
Oh no, we have a lot of crazy tea. It's
honestly, that's why we
normal.
started a podcast. Is I'm like, people are not going to believe this stuff.
Ooh, okay, what else you guys got for me?
We got some stuff, but I do want to ask you, just so I don't forget, because obviously that happens. We talked about the good from influencing.
Yeah.
Like, have you met bad influencers, and like, what have those interactions been like?
It's so hard. I give everybody a rule of 2 at least. I'm like, you get one time to like kind of have an off night. Like, I'll give you the grace. Maybe you were just like overwhelmed or stressed out. But if you do me dirty twice, then I'm gonna be like, okay, fool me once, shame on you. Yeah. Fool me twice, shame on me. So I have met some that are just, they're just rude, not exactly friendly. There's not many though. Like, I think, and it's always crazy. Like, I feel like whenever someone like assumes that an influencer is bitchy, they like assume that it's like one of the New York City fashion girls, and it's like, no, they're honestly so nice. They mind their own business. Unfortunately, the 2 bad interactions I've had were with people that like the general public would never think was that way.
I feel like it's always like that.
I felt
they get a little too big for their britches, and they think that they just are the best things since sliced bread. It's like, we gotta...
Since sliced bread, I'm
Seriously,
screaming. No, but honestly, I just feel like I saw people act that way that aren't influencers.
On like
and
the
it's
Philly famous people.
especially in the Philly scene. Like, it's not like they probably aren't even posting on social media, but they're going to that club and that's their place, and they hang out with, and don't you dare talk to whoever they hang out with. Like, and I'm like,
it can be very cliquey.
But
I don't know. The only bar right now in Philly that I like consistently have fun at is Vinyl.
Okay.
I have fun at Vinyl.
Absolutely.
I love like the jungle house music.
Yes.
I love just putting my glasses on. I love how like it's just like a good vibe. I'm always fucked up. I think the staff is super nice. I love it. And it feels like when you're in there, like it feels like you're in a different city. And I like that.
I do feel that way.
Yeah.
I do feel that way.
I like that. Listen, Philly has so much potential.
It really does, yeah.
What I wanted to say earlier too was like, you really opened up hope for people in the city for like creating, because there's not a lot of people here creating, and like you think like, because you know you're not really probably networking with a lot of people, that you're not going to really do anything because no one else has done it around you, and you're like, I can and I will.
And you will.
Yeah.
That's why I love your TikToks and Cass in the City.
She's the best.
I love the food, the bars, everything, because, you know, I have like my 5 bars that I go to in Philly that I the staples that I know.
Right.
But I feel like when you have Philly influencers like that, they open your eyes to all the smaller places you could go to. There's other options.
Totally.
Especially for summertime, I feel like it's so important. Like, get out there, get outside with your friends. Who cares if it's a Wednesday, if it's nice out and you're getting drunk? Try new places.
If it's Wednesday,
if it's
Wednesday, they make you go out on Wednesday.
Oh my gosh, Sips is back. Oh my god, no. That's asking for
trouble.
Trouble. With Sips, I remember being underage and going to Sips and being like, this is the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah,
like,
we all been there.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm hanging out with business people. Like, I literally was getting to the city. I lived in Manayunk at the time.
Wait, so did I. We lived the same life.
Literally.
Okay,
so
well,
I lived in East Falls. Yeah.
That's where I'm from.
Grew up. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, no, it's a small world.
Wait,
But-
what part of the suburbs did you grow up in?
Abington, Upper Dublin.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I was like Conshohocken from the Maine area,
Okay,
and then once I went to Temple, I was never going back home.
Did you go to
City
White Marsh?
I did go to PWC.
So we know,
like,
so
a
we
bunch
probably
of the same
have
people.
some mutuals, and we're the same age.
Yeah.
That's
we'll have to
tea.
keep
That's tea.
We'll have to keep going.
Listen,
This is one of our episodes. Have you ever heard of the circle jerk? Have you seen one or been a part of one?
A circle jerk?
Mm-hmm.
yeah, in a circle.
No. I mean, I've heard of what that is, but
Okay.
I never knew that was like a real
Okay. Well, it's a real thing because I'll let you tell it because
it's a real thing because PW kids FaceTimed me one time. They were in a basement in a circle, and I think they FaceTimed me because they wanted me to be the entertainment for the circle.
She said absolutely not.
Not the free OnlyFans.
You know, literally, and I'm like, honey, this is not for free, honey. Do you see? Yes! I went to prom with him.
No!
Yes!
He was circle jerking?
Him and his friend.
Doesn't surprise me.
They
Doesn't
all
surprise.
They had it out.
They had it out, and like they were known for having like a basement that had a big TV like this. This is tea. I'm
That's
dead
crazy.
that you know.
Okay, wow. So circle jerks are real.
So circle jerks are real. I know guys will try to say it's a myth. It's a myth. I've seen it with my very.
But they also say it's a myth, and then after like the second time, you're like, "Is it for real?" They're like, "Well, I know this person's cousin."
Yeah,
we've heard the same story too many times.
It always trickles down to I know someone that was in it, but not me. It's like okay, babe.
And honestly, I'm not even like pissed about it because like Mimi and I have talked about it. Like, why were the girls just talking shit about each other instead of like instead of experimenting?
We could have been, you know what I mean, on the boys' level, exposing.
Like, it's just like insane. But yeah, so I guess like a year and a half ago now, Mimi like asked me about the circle jerk and then told me that same story, and I was like floored. So we created a whole podcast episode.
Circle jerk.
Well, exposing men. We have exposing men part 1, part 2, and 3 is loading.
3 is loading.
Loading.
But it turned into this from the circle jerk to then bathhouses, then to what was the
Honey pots.
honey pots? Do you know what the honey pot is?
You guys are educating me.
No, literally, a honey pot is when you don't go to the brothel, but you bring it in. You'll bring it in like a hotel room. You'll buy just for the girls to know he's shook right now.
Like you don't go to the brothel comes to you.
That's a honey pot. That's a honey pot. And I know this because I was on a trip in the DR with whole crew, thinking that we're basically on a family trip because it was a wedding happening this trip. So I didn't think a honey pot was going to go down. I didn't even know what a honey pot was. Until they're talking about, we're going to go to the honey pot. And my man's going to the honey pot with all of his boys. And I'm like, wait, what goes on? And I found out what goes on.
And we can't
let
the world not know that. Like, no one can be naive anymore. This is what's happening, what some people are doing.
Oh, that's just too much.
No, this is like, and it's like,
it's
I was there and this was
asked.
happening. So imagine, like, for your partner who's not there, like, and what is going on.
Yeah.
Honey pots are real.
No, you have to, like, you need to be asking these questions.
Yeah. No, seriously.
Noted on that.
Absolutely.
What else you got for me?
First date. What else do we have? Oh my gosh, we have a lot. What about the animal? The lizard?
Have you seen the story of the monitor lizard on TikTok?
No, you guys are making me feel out of place.
I'm so sorry.
But I really want to tell you that, like,
good that you don't know. It is so good that you don't know.
The things that
honey pots. I wasn't aware of circle jerks. Now we're talking about lizards.
No. Mimi and I, the conversations that we have, like, we don't get together and, like, talk shit. And if we do talk shit, it's, like, definitely not about people that are our friends. So, like, we sit there and like, we figure out so much more and we're like, we can't talk for free anymore.
No,
like, it's just not allowed. But I have a question first to ask.
Okay.
Was Selena Gomez, like, a part of your inspiration? And, like, what more is that someone you just kind of, like, admired?
Oh, no.
What's your inspo?
My inspo? Oh, my God. Oh, okay. No, that's not true. Tana Mojo was my
I love
Tana.
Yeah.
I love Tana.
So I started, like, I never watched YouTube. I never was into the influencer. I didn't really understand it either. And then I studied abroad in Italy. And at that time, they didn't have, like, any of the streaming services. Like, all of my accounts didn't work. So the only thing I could watch in Italy was YouTube. And my friend was like, oh, like, let's just watch, like, Jeffree Star videos, James Charles videos, and Tana videos. And I loved Tana. Like, I was like, wait. I was like, she's made a career off of, like, basically just being herself and, like, having fun and partying and, like, story times with her friends. I was like, that is the blueprint.
Yeah.
So she was kind of, like, my inspiration into, like, I can make videos off of just being myself. I don't have to, like, think of a different personality.
That gave me chills.
Yeah.
And then I met her a few months ago, and it was so full circle. Yeah. I went to her canceled show. I got to meet her behind the stage. So that was really cool.
Wait, I love that for you. And honestly, like, Tana really did take a risk on herself at a time that I don't know what other people really were. Like, she saw something, she didn't give a fuck. She was like, I'm going to do OnlyFans too. She's like, I'm going to make that bread. And she's like, and now she's at a point where, like, I'm so happy for her. Like, she seems like she's dating a great person. You know, she's sober and, like, she is just, like, thriving. And it's like,
I agree. She's like the happiest she's ever been.
Yeah, it's people like that because we know her backstory. It was not easy. Like, we have, like, similar things with our families, you know, and it's like seeing someone come from where they came from and build such a beautiful, first of all, family of friends that she has around her and a life for herself. Respect.
And go against the odds.
Yeah.
100%. Love Tana.
Literally. But I did want to ask you, what do you think is the most common misconception about yourself?
That's a good question.
Oh my goodness. I think there's, like, probably two. One is probably that I'm, like, drunk 24/7, which is
clearly,
like,
that's not the case. He's trying to get him drunk, and he said no.
Like, I guess that is, like, I think because of the image that I portrayed, and it's really not even necessarily my brand anymore right now because it's summer. Like, definitely there's more party content.
You're
but,
so
like,
much more than that.
In the beginning that was a lot of what it was, but I've definitely, like, not rebranded, but tried to expand into not just making drunk content. Yeah. So, like, a lot of times, like, when people meet me and they're like, why aren't you wasted? Or what do you mean you want to go home early? You always talk about going late. It's like, yes, like, I talk about a lot of things. That doesn't mean that every single night I'm doing all of the various things that I talk about. Like, just because I've lived a million crazy nights doesn't mean every night is a crazy night.
Also, it's like, you know, what content kind of sells. Like, it's like, you know, it's in a form where it's like, you know, you're like, okay, this went viral, this did well. I'll do a little bit more than that. And honestly, there's no harm in that game, I would probably argue that and say, and I think a lot of people, when you're so much smarter to create that content and not actually be doing those things, why the fuck wouldn't you?
And that's the thing. It's like what I say, like I'm very authentically me. Like I would say 80% of what you see is literally me. And then there's 20% that is still me, just a little exaggerated.
Yeah.
Like that to me is like my whole social media
I get
presence. Yeah. So I think that's a misconception. I think people always think that I'm like wasted or that like I'm addicted to alcohol or that I use alcohol as a coping mechanism.
Listen,
when it's very much not like that.
We can vouch. He gave me advice on not using alcohol as a coping mechanism.
So,
and I really did like try to shove shots down his throat. He said no. So, and then I love SNL and I always have. And like my dream job would have been like a writer on SNL, but now whatever, writer for our podcast.
Absolutely. It's still
I know, but then I also found out you make a lot more of a podcast. We're not there yet. It's not nonprofit, but
they should.
But SNL, I literally sit there when people like take certain things serious. I'm like, have you ever watched the show that's probably been on TV longer than any other show and has the most seasons? And South Park. They make fucked up things so funny. But I do have a crazy story to tell you. Okay. So it was how like I was inspired, and it was through Alex Cooper. And when I was living in Ardmore, her podcast was out for a year. I had never listened to a podcast before in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the train going to like work in the city, and I just was like, okay, maybe you want to listen to like a podcast on your train ride. Had no one in my life, because at this point, like she might have blew up maybe in New York and other big cities, but in Philadelphia,
really like
they weren't thing.
Yeah, and I had not heard of it, and it said Call Her Daddy, and I was like, that sounds interesting. And I listened to the first 10 minutes, and I watched every episode by the end of that night.
Yep.
And then I started listening to like TED Talks, and this is how we built this, because I would switch back and forth between Call Her Daddy and that.
Yeah.
And right there, that was like, okay, you want to be an entrepreneur and you are inspired, but I was too scared of like what the world would think.
Right.
But luckily I have a great friend, a great best friend who has always told me to live my truth.
Hype man for my friends,
and
always.
Mimi and I, when we were younger and we were in high school together, we might as well have been famous, honestly, because we were famous and hate it, and we weren't. It was still a nonprofit.
Because we were in the big titty committee, though. I really do think that's why.
Your boobs are real too.
They were. We got a little enhancement.
No, I knew. Like I look at Mimi and I'm like, you are famous. You always have been, and like I just knew that we were on a similar road to that, because I guess I'm gonna be famous too. Watch, but humble brag.
Like I say, act like you're famous. Just act as if. Honestly,
fake it till you make it.
Always.
But I wanted to do a podcast, and like Mimi, you were at that point. You were looking to get like on a reality TV show.
Yeah, I told him that.
Yeah,
I tried out for some.
And then we were just like, okay, fuck it. Like we're taking our Wi-Fi to the next level. We are gonna make getting our lives together. Yeah. And Alex Cooper so happened to be coming to. We bought like all of the stuff in I think August 2023. Alex Cooper was coming in November.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, we need to record enough episodes where we get comfortable before we start posting stuff and putting it out there.
Mm-hmm.
So like we found out she was coming after we already had started recording. For the first time ever, because I was so scared of starting to edit, because I didn't know how I was going to do it, that like literally the week that she came to Philly, I was editing like 9 different episodes that Mimi and I recorded, and the shit we were saying, because we knew it wasn't getting posted
first like 20
anywhere.
episodes were the trenches.
Honestly, I feel like we needed to be taken to like country club where they're like serving tea and putting your pinkies out to like groom us to not say the stuff we were saying.
I know.
Because it was just so wild, and I put all of these clips together, and it was definitely not good editing. And I was like, I'm putting it on a flash drive and I'm giving it to Alex Cooper. So at that time, we were living across the street from the Four Seasons.
At 1900.
And I look out my window and I see Alex Cooper, her 2 dogs, and her fiance. And her best friend and her best friend's mom. And I go, we run down? And I'm like, no, Ariana. I'm like, you don't chase, you attract. And I literally go and I'm like making a poster to bring that night that says, give me the microphone so I can ask you a motherfucking question of the week.
Yeah.
And and I'll tell you about that part as I go on. I'm just like making my poster. I stand up again and I look out the window and I'm like, holy shit, she's back. And she's sitting there walking the dog and everyone's standing there talking. And I was like, fuck it, Ariana. Run out there, hoodie, no bra, sweatpants, the heavy hangers are down. Like, I didn't even wash my spray tan off yet. I'm orange as fuck. And I run down and I go up to her. And honestly, she looked scared right initially. She was like, and I was like, hello? I was like, first of all, I'm such a fan, but more than that, my goal in life is to work with you, because I messaged her during COVID times. I sent her a video when her and Sophia broke up. And I said that we were meant to work together. I was like, I'm funny as fuck, bitch. Bring me on the podcast. Like, I'll be your new. And the video still stands. I wish I could delete it, but she needs to see the trace. And I went down and I was like, you know, my biggest goal in life is to work with you. And I started talking to her. Her fiance was very kind and like, you have a flash drive, drop it off at the front desk. And I was like, not even able to speak. I was like, are you sure? Because I had this whole thing that I was going to do tonight. And like, they did not care. But, they were very kind. And then I forgot to introduce myself. I was getting ready to walk away and they were like, wait, what's your name? But I mean, that was just terrifying.
Yeah,
like, go to your idol. It's so unwarranted.
Cool. Yeah. So, and you give her your flash
and
drive.
then, but my plan was, and it did really get butchered. I broke up with my ex in September, and this was in November, and I bought him an Hermes bracelet for his birthday in July. He gave it back to me in September, the week of my birthday.
You gave her back the Hermes bracelet.
But I broke up with him the week of my birthday. Yeah. No, with a note that said...
She said because he was so wrong.
But he gives it back to me with like a little Post-it note on it, and it says, return this and get something in exchange for your podcast. And I'm like, Hermes does not do returns. You've worn this for the last 2 months. There's some scratches on it. You've worn it every day.
I know you
so
wore
I
it.
gave it to Alex Cooper for something for my podcast.
Yeah.
But I forgot to put the index card in it. So then I gave it to her once I gave the flash drive.
Okay.
So I run down, and then she just sees me in the crowd with an orange Hermes bag, and she gets a man's bracelet with scratches on it. And then she didn't get the note until the next day when I dropped it off at the front desk, and the front desk lady told me it was delivered. But yeah. So
you gave Alex Cooper an Hermes bracelet.
Yes. And Hermes bracelet.
Did you hear from her?
No, but I last part out. But she always says, she's like, she made Dave Portnoy hire her. Like, you have to be a little bit crazy.
Yeah,
like, you know?
She always tells her story.
There's a reason why she has a whole company now. And honestly, I am crazy. And
you guys will get signed to Unwell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen,
and if it's not that, then we're going to have our own.
Exactly.
So, we're going to have our own company.
Exactly. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're coming up on our last 2 questions for our babe. And so I love your TikTok series about the different types of friends. I really
I love that so much.
I love that because I feel like you are giving the audience tips on blind spots that they might not be able to see. You're like their social media bestie, giving them
and validation.
The real. Yeah. And if you're feeling validation, if you're feeling this way about a friend, they might have this personality, this is how you act. So I want to ask you, how did that come about? Was it from previous experiences? Like,
yeah, I make a lot of videos about my own life, and I think that's like probably the misconception. Like, I feel like sometimes my current friends like think I'm like subtweeting them, and they're like, "Is this about me?" And I'm like, "No, I'm 27. I've gone through years and years and years of shitty friendships, different experiences, different relationships, and I just sometimes will randomly be like, you know, I learned this from that, and I'm going to share how I learned it." And I think that that's kind of just like my brand in a nutshell. Like, I have a stream of consciousness. Like, I have a thought about something. I'm like, I'm gonna share that thought. Like, I'm gonna share what I've learned.
I love that.
Yeah, that's kind of how it came about.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and that's it. Goes again with the authenticity. Like, people want that. Like, that is what the audience wants. So I'm happy.
No, and I love that you said, like, you're like, okay, no, like, you've been a good friend. You're still here. You're sticking around.
Exactly.
But, like, you're sharing what hurt you before. And it's really, really good. And also, it's nice that, like, you can do that. And then, like, you can also be really creative. Like, I saw you with Selena on like TikTok. You were doing like the hotline phone
The
thing.
hotlines, yeah.
It was so funny. And you're sitting there and you are, doing a hotline skit and like you are typing and you're going all in it and you have a fan base. I mean, what you have now, but let's just say 100. I mean, honestly, at that point
I had nothing.
20.
Yeah,
Like,
those
I mean,
were like helping me, yeah.
Whatever it was, it's so scary to create a skit for yourself and do that and put it out there.
Skits are hard.
Yeah.
And they're very hit or miss. Like they either really are a hit and you get like a big following from them, or it's such a miss. And I think that's kind of like, I don't make as many skit videos anymore because like I've almost like become so authentic that it feels weird.
They're
like even playing a character, even though the character is usually inspired by me in
you.
general.
They're so good. The bouncer ones that
The bouncers.
I
love the bouncer.
The bouncer. I need to do more of those.
The bouncer ones, I really I have fell to the floor. Like I have not been able to breathe,
especially because
they
like
are
we're
so
in Philly
funny.
and it's based off of I'm sure Philly experiences.
Yes.
I'm like been there. It's so relatable.
It's so true. Going out is fun. Make sure you're going out with good people in life because that makes
100%.
it even more fun. But I'm sorry, the bouncers at the club. What are you doing? Like it's literally like they're protecting the president inside.
I'm
the
so
Way's
sorry.
bouncers are good.
Most
of the Philly bouncers are good. It's when I go to New York, those bouncers, or like Miami, obviously.
Miami,
the big nightlife cities. Yeah.
Literally, I was in New York.
They do the most.
Not too long ago, the two promoters were fighting about how many girl to guy ratio, and of course, like we go, and I roll with all gay guys like that, and they're always like, you lie about the girl to guy ratio. I'm like, first of all, everyone here is a gay.
Right.
No one's gonna take away your girlies.
We're paying, so get the
exactly.
Right.
And I'm like, and they're all paying. Like, stop. They
I
literally got into
a club
fight
like that, to be honest.
and I was like, I want to leave. Like the promoters are fighting for our table. Like it's just
going
too
out
much.
is just not that serious.
It's not ever.
Yeah, that's why I do
serious.
deep house. I'm like,
I'm
gonna go on
dance.
sneakers. I'm gonna go listen to house music. A lot of times in New York, they have these incredible warehouses with like some of the most talented DJs in the world, where you can't even get a table. You're going in and you just gotta dance to the music.
And just dance. And that's what
It's
I love.
vibe.
Is having a good time. No more drama.
So if you could go on any reality TV show, what TV show would you go on?
I need there to be a new one because I couldn't do Survivor. I wouldn't be able to handle the elements. Big Brother's too fucking long and everybody gets canceled.
You're so much better than us.
I love The Circle, but I feel like it just isn't gonna do anything for my I just feel like it's not that popular anymore.
Yeah.
So I need to be on whatever the next what Jersey Shore was. They need to recreate that, and I need to be a cast member. Like another Vanderpump, but I'm on the G cast that has seasons after season.
Wait.
Yeah.
We are aligned.
Yeah.
And honestly, let's make something happen because literally, I mean, I don't know if yours is the same as mine, Mimi, but mine's Summer House. And we have been talking about it. We're like, first of all, there's some great people in Summer House that are younger and can stay, but some of the older ones gotta go.
We gotta revamp.
And they need more people on
as well.
But honestly, I don't think they'll get the big SUVs from Philly to the Hamptons.
Wow.
So do we open up Avalon style?
Honestly, we just need another.
Because it goes down there.
Your friends are a young group from a place, because we are I haven't met your friends, but I met you, and and I see your guys' content, and you guys seem like a good time.
Yeah.
We have our group, and we know how to have a good time. Collab, because I want to see fresh faces. You're absolutely correct.
And
it needs to be a fresh new show.
I agree.
Yeah, and because you know what, there's a sense of it too when you get a certain name, and it's okay, we're doing this. This is how it goes, and it's no, we have to evolve always in life. But there's nothing happening in Seattle and Avalon, and there's a lot happening at the same time. So
true.
That's wild. I was not expecting you to say a short yes.
I need a new show.
We do want to ask, do you feel like you've gotten your life together?
I feel like it's definitely gotten a little bit more together than it was.
Absolutely.
I feel like it's getting there.
It's getting
yeah.
Exactly.
I feel like your life has to fall apart before it can get back together.
For sure.
So I definitely feel like I was in a long transition of it slowly falling apart, and now I feel like I'm back in like the early stages of getting it together.
So yeah,
I'm so happy to hear that.
No, and I love that when you are someone that wants more in life and you're willing to go after it,
100%.
it's always going to be what's next.
Yeah.
But I'm happy
do
you
have
can
that fall
look
apart.
at it and you can. It sounds like you have gratitude from where like you were
Definitely.
and where you are now.
Absolutely. Always remember where you came from.
Absolutely. That's a big
100%.
driving factor for success.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
I mean, thank you.
Cheers.
Oh
my goodness. This is so fun.
This is so fun.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
We will see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
Bye, guys.
Mwah.